Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Real Chumps. I am your host, Marcel, and with me, as always, my co-host, Danny.
With Mother's Day coming up, we are going to discuss the 1998 film Stepmom, starring Julia Roberts, Susan Sarandon, Ed Harris, and Jenna Malone.
Susan Sarandon.
Oh my gosh.
But
first, hey, normally I get it right, okay? I just committed this time, and I was like, he's not going to correct me, right?
He's not going to correct me. Hey, better me than some punk on Twitter.
That's true. Hey, don't add us. Dude, quick, two things that we have to discuss. One, there is currently, the writer's strike has officially begun as of last night, which we had mentioned and discussed, I think, a little bit in one of the podcasts, or maybe our post show podcast post show.
Yeah. Offline podcast post show.
Yeah. But to all writers out there in the WGA, we support you. You should be paid, as well as directors. Everybody who's in the industry should be paid. And I don't care if that pisses off Disney CEOs.
And the thing is, like, streaming is one of the biggest reasons why they're going on strike, right? It has changed. The film and TV industry has changed so much since the last strike in 2007.
So 2008. So 2007. Think about this. Let's lay it out a little bit.
Yeah.
Vox put out a great article. I'll link it in the show notes. I'm going to grab it right now. But we had, so a little bit of context leading up to, we had BuzzFeed's news station, like award-winning news station, got shut down. Okay, this was an era that I was like BuzzFeed was weird when they started doing news and they started winning Pulitzer prizes and food reporting. I was like, okay, Vox started coming in, but even Vox has laid off people and whatever. So there's like signs of like there's definitely something happening in the media industry. We knew that this with the writer's strike. Last time they had it was in 2007 to 2008.
Yeah,
Netflix started streaming in 2007, but it was just like some of their catalogs, right?
Right.
Part of that first strike was in the fact that they wanted to better the biggest thing with the streaming. They were unsure what some of that did. They wanted to lock in some of the contracts and trying to make sure that like their jobs were safe because streaming was going to come in and start disrupting. It aggressively changed.
Yeah.
And they renew. So okay, the it's like this weird acronym. It's the International Movie Association and TV Producer something. It's like basically all the studios. Every single studio, Netflix, Disney, every single studio that you can think of is like part of this thing. And those are the people who deal with Directors Guild of America, the Writers Guild of America, and the whole situation. Okay, so as of right now, they had put forward a document for they wanted to raise like some of the money the money they wanted to increase was like I think 147 million, and the other organization denied it and said they would only raise it like 6 million or something. Jeez. Okay, to put in perspective, I think Adam, who ruins everything, he's very vocal right now on a bunch of different things. He quoted that.
So I'd point out the fact that David Zaslav, the CEO of Warner Brothers Discovery, which is the parent company of the network I'm talking to you on right now, was paid $250 million last year, $250 million. That's about the same level as what 10,000 writers are asking him to pay all of us collectively, all right? These companies are making enormous amounts of money. Their profits are going up. It's ridiculous for them to plead poverty when the writers who are making their shows, some of them are not able to pay their rent or their mortgages. I literally know writers who have had to go on assistance because they have not been able to make their year. If you look at these companies, they're making more money than ever.
So Vox, again, like they have a wonderful breakdown. I love, that is there. And technically, they are part of the writer strike. Now, not all writers are being disrupted. Broadcast, online radios, they're still going to work. But like the movie and a lot of some of the stuff, we're not going to feel it like we did back then. I mean, we think about The Office and like some shows that were cut in half. and like weird,
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
do reruns. The biggest shows that are going to be affected are the like late night
The
shows,
late night shows, the daily. Yeah.
SNL,
Mhm.
that sort of thing. But Disney. One of the biggest things like that they've cut costs is calling mini rooms. So normally when they do a pitch for like a pilot or season or whatever, they'll have like a pilot room, and they usually do like 8 writers. What they do with these mini rooms is they'll have these individuals, 3 or 4 writers come in, try to write out 3 of the first episodes, and then but pay them less than they would do for the full 8 crew. So like there's all these weird like budget cuts that they're like that they're trying to work around, and yet they're making more money than they've ever made in because of streaming / because of the thing. And there's the whole thing with residual thing. One of the biggest factors that they're trying to deal with right now is the impact of AI.
Yeah.
So the reason why they're doing a big deal now is because just like back in 2007, 2008, right before the stock market and all the thing crashed, which again, weird, oddly enough,
Yeah.
we're dealing with other bank crises. Weird connections. I'm not sure how they're connected, but I think they are. If I was a better investigative journalism, I would. If I was in that line of business, that's the thing I'd be investigating. But the thing is that back then it was the impact of how it would how streaming was going to be impacted and how it's going to grow and change. They had no idea. We look at AI. Literally 6 months from now could be completely game changer in AI, right? Like this earlier today, I was shown a video from my buddy of mine who there's a service where you can submit photos and they will give you a professional headshot. Okay, it's crazy. All right. And my thought was like, what? Not only does this affect like AI affects writers, actors, voice actors, the VFX, which VFX industry period should like I don't know why they're not on strike. The whole situation, and technically, the Directors Guild of America, according to the Vox article, states that their like renewal contract is actually like in the end of June. So it could be that like if things aren't mediated or corrected, it could lead to a mega strike, which fully does stop Hollywood production.
Yeah. It's wild.
Dude, it is.
It's an interesting time, and again, like let's reiterate, we support all the writers, the guild, and everyone that's impacted. Like there needs to be changes. I was watching this interview on Variety, and they were interviewing the writer and who was it? I'm trying to find it. The showrunner for Dope Sick.
Yeah.
Anyways, and he was saying like he brings up the fact he's like, how am I able to negotiate a fair deal with my writing when the studio won't show me the data of and the impact that my show is doing? And that's part of I've always had this issue with streaming is that they hold the numbers so closely and they don't share, especially Netflix. Netflix will not share anything.
Yeah.
And that's so unfair. Like, how can you like go and negotiate a better deal and say, look, my show that I wrote for you is bringing in X number of viewers or X number of registrations, whatever, when that's not being shared with you? That needs to change.
Yeah, because I mean, like if you take it into regular broadcast TV, the way streaming residuals are calculated really hasn't caught up. Broadcast, even though like it's the whole equation and whatever basically comes down to like if they have a better show, brings in more ad revenue, means more eyeballs, which means they have bigger money, which means they can do bigger payouts. So broadcast, even though we were like no one, like I don't know anyone who has a broadcast TV situation right now that is going to deal with that situation, and they're getting paid more than streamers. That's wrong.
That's very wrong.
Okay, think about this. This Invox, it's a massive hit for Netflix, bringing thousands of subscribers and revenue. You don't share it at all in the profits, even though you're a main reason the platform is succeeding. The WOG argues needs to change in negotiations prior to the strike with the AMPTP, which is the American Movie Producer Associated something or whatever. It's freaking ridiculous. There's so many acronyms in this. It's ridiculous. So is that like one of the biggest things, like the Comedy Variety show it's like it's bringing in things, but then also like how many are they going to be there? So people are writing for those shows. So those types of shows like The Late Show with Stephen Colbert and all these other ones that are there, they late hours in there. A lot of times they're doing the day of writing. And so instead they negotiate the rates individually. So instead of doing it like how they would do broadcast, where they would like, so on broadcast, writers are covered by the MBA, which is like the minimal basis. Like it's like the minimum wage, right? It's like, okay, we're going to pay you this much and it doesn't matter. You're going to get paid. So for streaming services, they negotiate the rates individually. And for most writers, this means they get paid less than those on broadcast, even though the product and workload is the same.
It's the same.
Here's the thing is like, I've always been like, this is like one of the best times to be alive as like as a storyteller for video. Literally, we have so many venues to be able to do that. However, and this is something I was talking to a colleague of mine from one of my college professors, who's now a very good friend and colleague of mine, and how when I talk with younger youth and they want to, I'm like, look, I'm not saying to go down the director's path and going down a producer and going down the grind of Hollywood isn't rewarding, and it's not that it's not worth it, but it's freaking rough.
Yeah.
And the fact that it's not changed when it comes to money is messed up. Like the fact that you still have to grind, like, don't get me wrong, like, does there need to be a grind? Yes, because people, it's not, like but honestly, like, you can't make a living because like the way things cut out, and yet people who have all the money get more rich. Not cool. No. Especially when it comes to the writers. I look at, like, I think part of this is like, you look at Disney, got rid of their entire team that brought in Disney Plus. Did you see that headline?
No, I didn't. Really?
They cut the entire team, or half the team.
And I know that you had massive layoffs like less than a month ago.
Yeah. So
was that part of that layoff then?
Yeah. Team. I'll find the article. I couldn't remember if it was the half of it or the full crew, but it was like the majority of the people who brought Disney Plus into full force and made them kind of like I think some of the game plan, which is insane to think. Like they came in, they rocked the boat. Like, I don't know if they were part of the people that negotiated the whole, like, put their foot down and said, sorry, Netflix, we're taking back all your Marvel, shows.
Yeah.
Like, that was a huge blow to freaking Netflix.
Yeah.
I bet, So, that contract might have been already set in stone, but I doubt it because, I don't know, Disney wasn't like, they didn't care about streaming. They're like, this is fad.
Yeah.
And to me, the biggest thing is one of the bigger things is the AI stuff. And it's part of it's like, they're worried that studios could end up hiring like a person to generate a script or, for pilots and for things like that. And then basically hire writers to adapt those ideas for less cost.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I've been leveraging AI to use some of this podcast,
sure,
and some of these other things. But to me, I will always be a firm believer, and like it comes down to the art, like the craft of having an individual be able to like identify something to put together, it will never go away.
100%. And we talked, and we're going to do a little shameless plug. We talked about this in our episode of Princess Mononoke, right? Yes. There has to be that balance in advancement in technology, in this case in AI. Like, yeah, there's something powerful about the artist, their personal approach to it, to whatever it is, a painting, a photo, or a story, and just bringing that human connection, that human experience to it that you can't replace.
No, and I think this movie that we're talking about today with Stepmom is the perfect example of like why we've been saying this in our podcast since like probably episode 1, that more movies need to just breathe.
Yeah.
This movie is a masterclass of just letting a moment sit, like many others that are out there. But this one for sure hit hard at very good moments. It stayed on, like, I would totally want to go back and rewatch this if it didn't make me cry every single freaking time. On the fact that like they would hold on people's reaction.
They hold on they hold in the scene, they hold on their reaction and maybe a slow fade away. But the power of just staying in there and letting the viewer sit with the emotions, but also letting the actor, right, contemplate the scene, the impact that it's having on the character, and letting them just do your thing.
Yeah.
Right.
This director, Chris
Columbus.
Chris Columbus. What a name.
Yeah. Right.
I don't know the situation. I don't know but he dedicated this to somebody. I don't know if it was his wife or.
So I looked a little bit into it. So he dedicated this to his mom, who passed away of cancer like a few months before the movie was released. So it's interesting because this movie had come to him several times, the script, and it was under a different title. Like I think it was titled like something about the moon. And he kept like turning it away, and he's like, nah, this isn't for me. Years went by, and then he picks it up, and his mom had just been diagnosed with cancer. And then he read it and he's like, yeah, no, this is it. Like if this were to be the last film that I do, I would be happy.
Dude, this Chris Columbus has a freaking.
And it's interesting because this is 1998. So this is the movie that came out after 9 months. His movie with Hugh Grant and I can't remember the female lead. But I mean, Chris Columbus is known for the Home Alone movies, Mrs. Doubtfire,
Harry Potter, the first two Harry Potters.
The two Harry Potters, right? After this, he did
this.
Yeah. And then what had he done? Bicentennial Man.
Oh, yeah.
So he's great at like telling sincere, innocent, genuine stories about human relationships.
Yeah, 100%.
And he does an incredible job at getting his cast, especially children, to emote those emotions.
Dude, that was the thing that took me. I mean, I don't know if it was, like if these child actors were like prodigies, but that was the thing that struck me the most. Is I felt like especially the son, Ben,
played by Liam. I forget the last name.
Yeah. His smiles, his like moments felt just so genuine.
And they were so sincere.
Yeah.
Right? They were genuine and sincere, and they just I was listening to an interview that he did about the kid, about Liam, and they struggled to find like the right actor for it, and they couldn't find. But he said as soon as Liam walked in and he gave that smile, he's like, yeah, this kid is good. But then he read the line and he's like, yeah, we're going with him. He even says, this was in 1998. He's like, if I were to still do another Home Alone movie, he'd be it.
I think he would have been way better than the third.
The third one. Yeah.
So Liam, actually he was in the series of unfortunate events. Mm-hmm. And he was the boy in the road to perdition.
Oh yeah, he was. Yeah, he was. That's right. Yeah, no, he's great. He's an awesome. He's awesome in this movie, and yeah.
Definitely. Like,
he's great,
man. I can see him coming back as like more of a star as he gets. Yeah. Anyways, phenomenal for sure. Like, this cast was great. I think it did feel so sincere.
Yeah, and well, let's set the stage a little bit. Yeah. So we're reviewing Stepmom because one of our listeners suggested for Mother's Day that we talk about a movie about moms, about motherhood, right? And this was the one that we decided on. We had a couple in mind. Yeah. We decided on this one. This is my first time watching it.
This is my first time watching it. Oh. Well, okay, let me take that back. When I was watching it, there was a scene when they're dancing to The Temptation, which that song will never...
The Marvin Gaye... Ain't No Mountain High Enough.
Yeah. Sorry, not Temptation. Yes, Marvin Gaye.
Yeah.
Ain't No Mountain High Enough. That song will never get old.
Oh, never, never.
That song is legendary. Like, I don't care how many movies will add that as like a song to like bring to. I just think that it's just phenomenal.
It's incredible.
So the scene where they're like dancing, as a family, as Sarah and the two kids, and they're just dancing and having fun. After a tough moment, it was was that the one after she like yells at her mom? She gets mad at her mom.
She's mad at mom and dad, right? She just found out that she
has
cancer, yeah.
And that she had been lying to her. Anyways, but that scene, I was like, I think I've seen this movie.
Oh, really?
But it was like I must have been young because I don't remember.
Yeah.
I don't remember very well. So I'm going to classify this as my first watch.
Well, here's the thing. The movie came out in 98. I was like 9 years old when this movie came out. So like I was not the target audience for that.
No.
I know that over the years, I know my parents rented this movie. And like when we were younger, we were pretty good at like we would all pick a movie, we'd sit down like on the weekends and watch, right?
Yeah.
I have a very clear memory of my parents picking this, me coming downstairs and be like, "Oh, what are you guys watching?" "Oh, we're gonna watch Stepmom." I saw like the DVD case and I was like, "Yeah, no, and this isn't for me."
Hard pass. Like, this ain't no Power Rangers.
Yeah, this is not for me. And me just be like, "Oh, yeah, okay, I'm out." I'd seen the trailer. We watched the trailer again,
and we felt like we watched the movie.
We felt like we watched the movie. Let's just talk about this. If you haven't seen it, full spoilers alert. If you haven't seen it, listen, but like watch the trailer. You're gonna get a feel like, okay, this is like a typical like stepmom movie and like
1990s, like late 1990 movie, kind of like witty. Will have some sad things, but like like there's gonna be the mom and the stepmom. There'll be some like fighting and
there'll be some conflict in there. It'll be funny. Not at all.
No, this movie was deep.
This movie took a very sharp left turn halfway, and I was like, "What?" Like the trailer did not sell it to me at all like this. And that left turn is that the mom, Susan Sarandon's character Jackie, is diagnosed with cancer, and this is like her second battle with it, and she goes through chemo, and chemo isn't working, and so it comes to the point where she accepts that this is it.
Yep.
Right. Yeah, man. Like it was such a unique take on it, and I wasn't expecting that, and I appreciated it.
Me too. So as a individual who's seen parents go through a divorce, I mean, I was a little bit older, but to me, I was telling my wife that like this movie felt very mature in like the way they handled things.
Mm-hmm.
Then I could think about in 98. Okay.
Yes.
They're like sitting their kids down to discuss things. Okay. Having real conversations with them.
Mm-hmm.
Like the father trying to have a discussion, being called out by the daughter.
Mm-hmm.
Jackie and her, and Jennifer, Julia Roberts, Isabel, her character, they're like fighting but not fighting. Like quip thing felt very like this could easily be the thing.
Oh yeah.
Like, but all of it, like it, and then Jackie and Luke, who is at Harris, they're like little lunch thing to try to have like these like, I don't know, conversations about like how things maybe are going. I don't know what the whole, but to me, it felt so emotionally mature for what 1990. And I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
No, but here's I'm watching this movie, right? And immediately I'm thinking, and I will say this: there are many times in this movie where I feel like the subject matter or the script gets very close to crossing the line of it being goofy or of me rolling my eyes and being like, oh, okay, like the stepmom, the conflict, and like it has those funny moments,
yeah.
But like it doesn't I was thinking of The Parent Trap, for example,
Yeah.
right? Where that movie is very clear, very similar situation in the sense that you have a dad who is starting to date someone much younger than him, is engaged. The mom or the future stepmom in Parent Trap, right? Also successful businesswoman,
Yeah.
carries herself very elegant. But it becomes a comedic trope, and that's how that movie is assigned, right? She doesn't like the girl. The girls don't like her, and she's out to say, at some point she's like, once I get married, I'm shipping you kids off to boarding school or whatever, right? So like it has those like traditional like stepmom tropes, whereas this one never crosses that line.
But it gets close.
It gets close.
It does.
It gets many times. It gets very close, and I'm ready to be like, but it doesn't quite. And I think that's just, I don't know how I feel about it. Like it's great that it didn't cross that line, but like you said, it tackles some of these themes in a very mature way, especially for 1998.
Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I'm sure there are other movies that might do this.
Yeah.
But to me, this is the first movie. I mean, like, I'm thinking about this in '98. I'm thinking of everything they're doing, and I'm like, man, these are things my wife and I are trying to discuss with my children. I'm like, okay, we're gonna have it. Like, all right, kids, this is what's gonna happen. Do you have any like, where are you at with this situation? Okay, like they tried to involve their children. I don't remember that as a kid. It was like, this is what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
You know, or vas a ver. I'm sorry if that just triggered every Latino
listening. I want to talk a little bit about Julia Roberts' character, Isabel. I really like this movie, even though the movie is called Stepmom, Isabel. It is more of a movie for Jackie.
Yeah.
And we'll get to Jackie in a second, but I love the way that this character was written. Like I said, she's probably in like her late 20s, early 30s.
I'd probably say early 30s.
Early 30s. She has a successful career as a photographer working for some ad agency. She's great at what she does. Her employer knows that she's the best, right? She's built a great reputation. Starts dating Ed Harris. But immediately she is genuinely invested in the kids, right? There isn't this traditional trope of, yes, she's trying to win the kids' affection and get on their side, so to speak.
Right.
But it's never like I don't like you and I can't wait to marry your dad so I can kick you out of the house or type of nothing like that. It's very like, I want to get to know you. And there's a couple of times in the movie where she says, I care about these kids because I love Luke, right? Yeah. And Luke loves these children.
Right. I really appreciate that too. And what I also appreciated is that like they didn't like, I mean, they try to make her, one of the first where we get to meet Sarah, or I mean Jackie, Sarah's character, when she's trying to get the kids up in the morning. She kind of woke up like, of course, she's a photographer, who like she's had her own life and like is not accustomed to like doing the kids and that whole situation. Forgets the purple shirt for Purple Shirt Day, which don't help me. I had freaking PTSD after with that. I'm like, oh my gosh, did I have the blue shirt ready for this Friday? But that like it felt like she was trying. She also felt it felt like she was a very frustrated character because like she felt like she was trying to do stuff and then being like not having total things that totally happened to people, like losing Ben while she was trying to work because she was trying to work and dealing with the kids, and then like trying to connect with the daughter, but like the daughter being upset and frustrated with the fact that like her dad's moving on.
Yeah.
Like of course like she's gonna like be more frustrated or whatever, right?
And it's something that Ed Harris's character brings up, right? There's a scene where Jackie and Luke are what's the daughter's name? Anna. Anna's like school with the principal.
Yeah. And
Luke says like yeah, of course Jackie is frustrated that there's a new woman and and she has to share her, her kids with this new woman. He says it like a bit tongue in cheek, right? Like mocking her, but also like he goes on later to say like, but Isabel never thought about being a mom. Like this isn't something that like was top of mind for her.
Yeah.
At least not now.
And again, I think this is a emotionally mature situation.
Yeah.
Like, great job for Julia Roberts. It said, who knows how many women to say like, oh, I could have a successful career and then maybe later not have to worry about kids right away.
Yeah.
I mean, in the location that at least I grew up, that was very much a lot of it was like, no, motherhood is like the only thing that I want to do. Wonderful.
Great.
But also know that like women you can do whatever you can do. You can be a mother and you don't have to be just a mother.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because men they're not just fathers. We're fathers and like it kind of angers me that like sometimes that trope is still brought up in movies.
Yep.
Because I'm raising two daughters. You also have two daughters. Like we want our girls. We marry women that are strong and independent and awesome.
Yeah. And I think going to like the contrast between Jackie, right?
Yeah.
She worked at a publishing house.
Yep.
Had a great career, but she made the decision to not work, have kids, and she brings that up, right? And so then you have this contrast of this mom who decided to give up her career, give up her passions, her interests to have kids, and then you have Isabel who is at the height of her career, right? And is trying to juggle the being being in the workforce and a future stepmom to the children. But you're absolutely right. It's such a, I don't want to say such a 90s trope of like the woman having to choose between her career and her family.
It didn't feel that way.
No. But you said it earlier, like it's still like, that's still being portrayed at times.
Yes.
Right.
It is still being portrayed. I think to me, the way I felt was that like, look, this, Isabel's character had the opportunity to find and to be a professional, right? She had her goals set and she was very independent. She found someone who did there. And I think you're always good with this because you take great, prep a little bit better than I do. But there's a line with, like him being, he comes, there had been a little bit of tiff. He comes back to give Anna's soccer stuff, and have Jackie and Luke have this interchange. And like he's like, I'm sorry, being a rough, we had a kind of rough situation, and then this idea of like, well, you didn't have enough time to be able to figure some of this stuff out.
Yeah. Right.
And I think that like that happened to a lot of people. Mm-hmm. And I think even now a little bit, sometimes we in society, in marriages, like things probably could have been okay, but because of misunderstandings of expectations or ideals or lack of purpose.
Yeah.
Not that kids don't provide us purpose, but like when you feel like all you're doing is like taking care of kids, and this is for both men and women, like whether you're the one that's the stay-at-home parent, like if all you're doing is taking care of kids and you're not talking to any other person, you feel like there's not really a lot of purpose.
Yeah, there's, and I think Jackie's character is definitely going through that in her life, right? She made sacrifices, and she's kind of come to a point in her life where she's like, what am I doing? Like, where's that fulfillment coming from?
Yep.
Not that she's not getting fulfilled as a mom, but it's hard, right, to balance work, and I love how this movie takes some of this theme of the role of women in society. Yeah. Now, I'm a guy, I get it. Like, I'm not speaking for women here, but like I see those struggles with my coworkers, with my wife, yeah. Right, and this notion or these not judgments, but these expectations that are put on women in our lives. It's not fair.
It's not fair.
No.
It's not only is it not fair, like for that, but it's also, I feel like I've made a decision that like I made like I will try to cook, like, or I cook
Yeah.
often
Yeah.
in my home, and I will do all these other things. Not that like say that like that solves any sort of problem, but like it is a home is a shared responsibility, right? And I think that like this movie does a great job, not necessarily in the aspect, but like showcasing that like the struggles of okay, one parent after a divorce is going to get remarried, and how that challenges or how that brings impact and struggles, because we see this with Anna and Jackie,
Yeah.
and then Anna and Isabel with like this boy, like the boy situation of trying to figure out like, well, what do I do? This he like in breaks out with me and whatever. She's like, this is what we're gonna do.
Prior to that, I love the interaction between between Isabel and Jackie, right? When they're at the play, and they're like they're dating, which at this age doesn't mean absolutely anything. Like it means nothing. They can't even go out together. I love that interaction between the two.
It was well, but that whole scene is that might be my favorite scene.
Yeah, it is, because it's look, throughout the whole movie, there's these passive aggressive comments towards one another, right? Understandably,
Of course.
right? But she at this point she knows about her having cancer. Yes,
Ooh,
I can't remember,
I don't remember either. I think she doesn't.
but enough has happened that they've come together, right? Or they're working a little bit closer.
Yes, they've come to an agreement. They understand each other a little bit, like in the fact that like, look, you're in this life. We're like they've come to some sort of like not necessarily like.
No, I think she does know about the cancer now,
right.
because I feel like once she finds out about the cancer, like there's that shift in the relationship between them, right?
Yeah, you're right.
Because then shortly after she does the whole thing with the boy, and then after that they meet at the restaurant, and after that, yeah.
So she does know. You're right, because at that point after she knows Jackie kind of lets down some of the walls, and in the sense of like, okay, well, you need to know things, and this is something that I felt like really appreciate, because I think that this moment with the play is like the first moment of like, okay, this is what's happening and you need to know this.
Yeah.
And then it opens the door a little bit for Anne to kind of like start accepting Isabel, because she had a very hard, thing. We don't really know the time spent, but I would assume this is probably, a year, if not more or whatever. So, but the thing for me that I really appreciated was the little moments of like beforehand, the moments of like conflict of between that like bitterness of like passive aggressive little moments, and then also to the shift of like having her share treasured memories that she's going to need to know as life moves forward.
Dude, you're gonna make me crack, man.
I know, dude.
Full transparency, I cried a lot in this movie.
Yeah, me too.
It hit me, like it really did.
I get this text from my son. He's like, bro, this movie. Wait, hold on. I gotta pull it up.
Pull it up. I think I said something along the lines of like, I am a wreck over here.
No. You said, dude, I can't. No, dude, ... I can't ... I'm bawling over here. That movie hit hard. And I was like, oh man, because I hadn't watched it yet. And I'm like, I gotta prep myself.
It's because I wasn't expecting the whole like cancer storyline. Anyways,
it was a little bit, it comes, but it's like the most subtle version of like the cancer situation.
Yeah. No, 100%. And I want to talk about Jackie, about Susan's role and like her portrayal of Jackie.
Yes.
This is Susan right out. This is a year after she won an Oscar for, I can't remember. It was a movie with her and Sean Penn. But so she's hot off an Oscar, and she brings such sincerity and pain, regret even.
Yes.
To this character, and I just love her portrayal of Jackie. You have these two incredible actresses that are just so good at their craft.
Both of them.
Both of them. They're so good. And I think Susan does an incredible job at
Sarah.
Susan Sarandon. Isn't that her name?
Is this Susan?
Yeah, Susan.
Oh my goodness. I'm over here like, you are, right?
Yeah, right? Yeah, okay.
I was thinking of her last name, Sarah.
Sarandon.
Man, I'm freaking struggling over here.
But I love her portrayal. Like, she's so great. And she does. You talked about like sitting with our emotions, right? There's a couple times in this movie, and one that comes right off top of mind is she's out horseback riding with the kids.
Oh yes.
And Anna's character looks to her mom and says, like, they're talking about Isabel and just the issues that they're having with her. And Anna looks at her mom and says, all right, hold on, I wrote it down. She says, if you want me to hate her, I will.
Ben.
Or it's Ben. That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Because Ben is, he's a young kid. He's okay with this.
He's like 7.
He's 7. He's supposed to be 7, right?
Yeah. Because like, you're right. Anna is talking to Jackie about the situation, about
Yeah.
like a situation that she's like kind of frustrated with.
Yeah.
And Ben says that line.
Yeah. He says, if you want me to hate her, I will. And I love that because then the camera looks to Jackie. She gives us a soft smile, but also a reflection within herself to say, okay, like, what am I teaching my son here? Like,
What am I doing?
what am I doing? Right? She doesn't say anything. You get that straight from her facial expressions, from that moment of letting us sit with our feelings and our emotions and letting her as an actress do her thing, right? It would have been easy for Chris Columbus to just say, get a quick shot, hang in there for a second, 2, let's end it, edit it out, right? But no, like, let her portray those thoughts through her face.
No. Well, and in the editing, like,
Yeah.
I mean, like, the editing, I mean, because there are times, cutting to Ben, I feel like that was a pretty long, and you know, he says that, and then it does cut to, you know, to Sarah, and she, you know, her, that moment, I feel like is huge in the sense of like, okay, what am I going to do? And not only that, but like, it's, I think is like the constant battle that she has to like decide on, right? That's like it's the setup.
It's set up. And prior to this, right, we see her walking with the kids, and she says, this is the lunch she gave you, and she tosses it out, right? So she's setting up Isabel to fail.
Yeah.
For the kids, right? Because kids, as a parent, you have a big impact on your kids, and so whatever you say, they will do, right? And so like she's setting her up to be incompetent by saying, this is the lunch, throw it out. Or she couldn't keep an eye on Ben, she's the worst. Or, Mom, if you want me to hate her, I will. Right? And so I just love her portrayal of that. And those moments that we have, and I'll talk about my favorite scene later where she just knocks it out of the park. But she's so good in this movie. And I think
She's good in every movie, dude.
He is.
I mean, Bull Durham.
Yeah.
She's amazing. I mean, every movie that I've ever seen with Sarah, I either am crying or am like emotionally invested with the characters.
Yeah.
To me, what I found really interesting with Jackie's character is in the way they portrayed it is something that I connect with deeply. Freak. Is the fact that like mothers, women, period. I shouldn't say mother, women, period, are the strongest people in the planet.
100%.
I don't care if you're freaking Arnold Schwarzenegger. I don't care if you've gone through Iraq. I love you guys are all amazing people and you're strong, but women, period, are the strongest people on the planet.
100%.
The amount of emotional, physical, like things they have to go through is like a miracle.
Yeah.
It is there, and sometimes it's not warranted. Sometimes it's not, a lot of times it's never warranted, but it happens.
Yeah.
And it shouldn't.
Yeah.
And like, to me, I will always forever be grateful for women everywhere for what they do, and how they, for the most part, women always are the ones that like carry so much on their shoulders. I just cause like that's part of their nature, right?
Yeah.
And I think Susan in Jackie portrays that amazingly, in the sense of like her decision to not say anything about her cancer for such a long time.
For such a long time.
Because I could fully believe that my mother would have done something like this. She would have, my mom, if you're listening, Mom, love you. But like, if the thing is like having the circumstance, like, well, I can't tell my kids right now, and I want to, and I can't, but because my husband or my ex-husband, who I care about still, is going to do this thing, I can't put this thing on him because he's going to be distracted. And so, you know what? I'm going to take this battle on my own.
100%. Where's the tissues, man?
I think I forget. They're over there.
No, you're absolutely right. And I think women have this innate ability to just sacrifice.
Dude.
Right? And I think this is one of the big themes in this movie. Like, sacrifice, whether that sacrifice your career, sacrifice for your family, whatever it is, right? And you bring up such a great point. Like, it's such an interesting. I love the decision to have made Jackie have had cancer, and she went through surgery and they got what she thought was all of it out, and then a year later it comes back, because now we know that this is something that she's been, like you said, struggling with and fighting with by herself. She didn't want to stress out her family, her ex-husband, or her kids, or maybe not because she didn't want to stress out the ex-husband, but maybe it's just, I'm my own woman now.
She's like, I mean, yeah.
Right? And I think it's such a smart way of writing that, instead of saying like, we're going to introduce cancer to her right now, right? No, she's had it before. She's carried it by herself. She's had to deal with it. She's managed, to go through surgery, not tell anyone, not tell the kids. She thought it was all gone, and it's come back. That adds so much more weight to her. And like you said, like I definitely can see my mom. I'm confident my mom doesn't tell us things out of I don't know.
That's the thing.
It's not pride.
It's not pride.
It's
selflessness. It's this the thing for me is that, that hits even harder, is that Jackie does it fully knowing that Isabel is going to win some of her children.
Yeah.
In these months, because she's lying about doing XY thing, and okay, I'm getting picked up by the publisher again, and trying to not let anyone find out, so that she can hopefully be okay, right? To me, this is the thing that will mothers forever and are doing now and will forever do, is that they will sacrifice. They'll take this. They will take it on to say they're going to do that thing that, like most other individuals men would probably not do.
Right. Yeah.
They're gonna, and I'm not saying that men don't do this, because men also do something. But the thing for me is that, like, this mother role is huge, right? She doesn't, being a mother, you carry a child, for in their body for 9 months. There's a physical connection that we will never fully understand.
Physical, emotional,
Spiritual, like
connection. Yeah, we'll never understand that.
no. And so to me, like that thing of her making that decision and trying to go through it by her. I mean, and I don't know if this is the scene you're going to talk about. Is the scene she's like throwing up. She's like trying to do dishes. She comes out, and this is the scene to me that was like this scene would have never lasted. It would have never lasted that long.
Yeah.
If it was made in 2005 or 2012.
Yeah.
Because it's probably like a minute or so long. I mean, and it just holds. And I really don't know, but I totally am a firm believer that like they said, this is we're going to hold it here. Just do what you would, just do what you think you would have, that Jackie would feel.
Yeah.
And she's like frustrated. She's tired. Feels defeated, but like just also can't give up. I don't know. It's just there's so much in that one scene that like is the epitome of what countless women do.
100%. That goes unnoticed, because that's what happens in this scene, right?
No one saw that.
No one was there.
No one was there.
None of the kids, the ex-husband, no one.
And we're like, it's a wide. It's a wide.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's a tight wide, because it's not like a wide angle lens. We're probably on like a 50, like we're on right now, or maybe a 75, or maybe some weird focal length. But it's like we're like looking voyeuristic down the hall.
It's a hallway, yeah. You feel constricted.
You feel
right?
Yep.
Even though you have a wide lens,
yep.
right?
And you're just alone with her.
Yeah.
And you just feel it. You know, to me, that is like the solidification of what cinema is so good at. You can write that in a book. You can write people's thoughts in a book. You can see those in pictures. But when there's like the moment of her feeling tired, but then she just gets angry.
Mm-hmm.
You know, she like
starts throwing the laundry.
Yeah, pushes things off that the dresser. You know, and then she sits down again. You know, and she's tired, and then what's she do? She gets back up. Keeps going.
Oh man, I want to talk about another theme here, that of death and grief.
Yeah.
The movie, I mean, and it's such an interesting decision that the movie ends with us not knowing if Jackie died or not, right? I want to know your thoughts. Why was that? Why do you think that decision was made? Why not take us through her passing, going to the hospital, giving such a great actress the opportunity to do a scene like that? Why do you think that decision was made?
I love their decision to not do this, to not end it with like a death, because it's not death. Isn't the thing that like having that death almost would make it less, in the sense that like, oh, we knew she was going to die, and so we give you the death.
Yeah.
The point of what I feel like this movie is about is that individuals can grow, people change, and that you can find understanding that the people in our lives, whether we like it or not, can be good for us and provide us insights and growth, right? I think to me is that like the kids, like Sarah as Jackie, and then Julia as Isabel, have this moment of one of them having the fear that Anna is going to only want her Jackie's character when she's getting married because her mother's died, and then Jackie thinking that she's not going to want her at all because she's got a new mother.
She's got a new mother,
right? But then Jackie says that she can have both of us, right? And then on top of that, like her showcasing to her children, we have had great memories. It's not about like I will always be there. Like she's talking to Ben and saying like, and what I think one of the best things in the entire is that she describes we can meet in our dreams.
Yeah.
This concept of like there, and I think to me that like yes, it's of course it would hurt for them to lose their mother. It would for that there, but like they've come and they found the resolution in the sense of like that she is left and let them and continued and will continue to show them that she loves them and that she's there for them and that she has always done and tried to be there for her two children, right? And that and not only that, but that she respects and wants to make sure Isabel is welcomed and that moment of them taking the picture, to me it was I mean, especially at Christmas time, like, you know, like Christmas time is a very impactful year. Like
For the good or the bad.
For the good or the bad.
Yeah.
And so to me, I just think it reemphasizes the fact that like it doesn't matter if people die. It matters the impact that you leave on the people around you.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think what stood out to me a lot about this movie, and I don't know. I think it's the role that women have as mothers. Whether you're a mom, whether you're a future mom, or whether you get to have the opportunity to play a role of a mother to someone else, to a neighbor, to a friend's kid, whatever it is, right? It takes a village, right? And that scene you were talking about when they're at the restaurant and you know, Isabel is worried that, you know, when she's getting married and, you know, she'll be upset that you're not there, Jackie. And then Jackie says, no, well, I feel like she'll forget about me because you're there. And Jackie says something along the lines of, I had her past, you can have her future.
Yeah, that was a great line.
And I feel like we live in a time where women, I don't know, you gotta be careful how I say this. I feel like we live in a time where there's so much comparison to one another, so much competitiveness. I don't want to say cattiness, but like so much one-upmanship.
And it's not it's the mentalness of that.
Yeah. And it's such a it's hard seeing women put other women down instead of like lifting each other up. And that's what I loved about this movie. Yes, there's the funny aspects of the passive aggressive comments happening throughout the entire movie.
Yeah.
But there's something so powerful about seeing two women with very different stages in their life, different opinions, thoughts, ways of how to handling the issue with Anna and the boyfriend, come together and support one another, express love to each other, and come to a common ground for the sake of the kids, right? And I think that is so powerful and something that we need more of, because it's so easy and it's so common in film and in TV to have women pit against each other.
Yeah.
And I feel like there isn't. Again, I think now that I became a father of two girls, these are the things that keep me up at night. Of I hope my daughters can make friends and meet friends that support them and uplift them, and not pit them against themselves or each other and tear them down. Right? It was just refreshing to see that, and I love that the movie chose to not go that route and showed a funeral scene or a scene where she goes to the hospital and or whatever. I love the idea that Jackie says, now join us in the family picture. And it's such a basic line, a line that carries so much impact for Isabel. And I think that for her was a moment of saying, I'm handing them off to you. You're part of the family. And for Isabel to say, okay, like I've gained this trust or gained this this trust from Jackie.
Anybody, I don't care if you're a man or a woman, wants to be, if you are coming into a family, you want to be accepted by that family, right? When you marry your spouse, you are hoping that the in-laws, both ends, are going to accept each other. That's a whole dance, right? I think that like this movie epitomizes many moments in a family, whether you're a separate couple, like if you've been separated from your significant other or not, you can still feel the desire to want to feel acceptance and welcome, acceptance in that family setting.
Yeah.
You know, acceptance in your when you go to college and being accepted with a group of friends and finding that, you know, the belongingness, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's and I think obviously in a family setting, it's the most powerful setting because it does have the greatest impact. This movie, Chris Columbus and team did a phenomenal job.
Yeah, for sure.
This will go down in my favorite movies of all time because it's a fantastic one to, you know, I can easily see me watching this with my daughters and like just holding them and, you know, them, you know, loving it and with my spouse and being, you know, knowing that like, hey, you know, we see you and we love you and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And it's, I just think we need more movies like this.
We do. We 100% need more movies like this. Yeah, we do.
Yep. Because it's not about the loss, because that's not what it was about, right? Because if Jackie had died, it would have been about the loss.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's not about that. Of course, she was going to die. I mean, she decided that she would not. You know, like she can't fight it.
She can't fight it. It's overtaking. Yeah.
The time there's not the technology and blah blah blah. So, but even then, even if, you know, like it wasn't a medical situation. You know, I mean, the thing is about the emotions, is about what it means to be a family. Not only that, but what it means to be not like a perfect family, but like to be reminded that every individual, whether you're a kid, an adult, or like a grandfather or grandmother, we're all just like, we're on this great journey of like life, which means we're all just trying to figure
out.
Okay.
We're trying to figure out, and we're needing all the support and the help that we can get.
And if
all of us at any age, at any moment of our lives, we're all the same. Like kids, I look at my kids and I think those are the same struggles that you're going to deal with for the rest of your life. Yeah.
That you did as a kid.
Yeah.
Right? Not that they're never going to get better at it, but like, I know that I look at my kids and I look back at myself and I think about the things that I struggled with, and I'm like, those are the things I'm struggling with now.
I'm still struggling with, yeah.
There's little people, there's little adults. We're little grandparents.
Little adults, little grandparents. Oh man. Let's talk about, I know we're coming up on time. What your favorite scene?
Okay. I mean, I think we kind of talked a little bit about them. I think I'll choose another one. I'm gonna go with that scene with Luke and Jackie.
Okay.
He's bringing back the soccer cleats, and you know, he kind of gets frustrated, you know, because, you know, like I was working and trying to make things happen, and but then he, you know, corrects himself. It shows the fact that he's like trying to work through things.
Yeah.
You know, like we don't talk about marriage enough in society, and so I think like this moment, it's in the future, and them realizing that they've like he's grown, but he's, you know, found a new person that he doesn't want to make mistakes with, but he also wants to let Jackie know that like he's trying to be better and showcase that, you know, the situation. So I don't know. To me, both situations or both actors in that moment do a phenomenal job of showcasing that like even as a like those are moments kids will never see, right? That him feeling sorry, and to a degree wishing something had maybe worked out, but
worked out. Yeah.
but it, life is life.
Yeah.
So
That's a good one.
it's a good one.
I like that. I love the scene. I think my favorite scene for many reasons. It's Isabel has dropped off Ben at the house. Jackie, prior to this, was outside smoking, calming herself down, right? And she has mail, like off to the like on a table. Jackie goes inside with Ben, and Isabel looks at the mail, and she sees that there's the plane ticket to L.A., the publishing house, letter from Charlie or someone. And so then Jackie comes out, and then Isabel says, "I know your secret."
Yeah.
Right? And immediately Susan Sarandon's face, like she's caught, like just, oh shoot.
The fear, dude.
The fear, like she knows that I have cancer, right? And Jackie goes off and says, or Isabel goes off and says, "You're moving the kids, you're taking the kids with you to LA. That's not fair." And I love that that Jackie decides to play along with this, right? She doesn't correct her, and she says, "Yeah, so what? I'm taking the kids with me." And I love that she makes that decision to like see where this goes, right? Like to just like maybe to get a reaction out of Isabel, but just let's see where this goes.
I mean, she fully doesn't expect. She did not expect what is coming.
Yeah. And so then she goes and tells her, like, yeah, like I'm taking the kids. We can co-parent from different sides of the continent. Many people do it. Like we could do it.
Could you imagine? I mean, listen, the 1998, the iPhone is not even a thing,
right?
Right? Like FaceTime, the idea of being able to like call, like this is literally like letters and phone calls, and then like trying to like not to say that didn't happen because I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm sure it did. But she even says like he can have the kids for 1 month out of the summer. Like brutal. And I love so she plays along with this, like letting her believe like, yeah, you found my secret. You caught me. And I love Julia Roberts' response to it. Like, this will destroy Luke.
Yes.
Don't do this. Right? And I love that because we see Isabel's love for Luke, but we also see the love that she recognizes that Luke has for the kids.
I would almost like the respect of it.
The respect of it, yeah. This isn't a father who half bakes it, like he wants to be involved. He wants to be part of the kid's life.
I would say that
he is.
Yeah, we don't see it because it's not about that situation.
Yeah.
But I fully believe that like he's made an effort to be a better dad, to be like involved or around, despite the fact that he's some sort of like legal, like he's a lawyer who is probably doing a good job because he's got a great house.
Yeah, he does.
In New York. So
no, yeah, and I love that Isabel calls her out on that.
Yeah.
And because of that, Jackie has a change of heart and tells her, "No, I have cancer, right? Like, this is the reality of it." And I love just the emotion that Isabel does at that point. She doesn't go like, "Oh no, I'm sorry." Like, it's very, again, sitting with our moment, with our feelings, sitting in the moment, and just seeing what you can see her process these thoughts. And I think from there on, that dynamic changes, right? It changes to be more supportive, to be more loving, to be more caring, to be more understanding.
But not like over the top.
Exactly.
Because like, I could easily see in some other storyline or some other universe where she tries to be like overly friend. Like, these are two very different women.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. They have very different understandings and insights on like how they see the world.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that they have to be the best of friends, right? Or that, you know, like they're friends and they care for each other, but they're not like in the thing. But to me, yeah.
But there's a line earlier in the movie where Jackie tells Anna to make an effort to look at the good that Isabel has, right? And that's what they're doing.
Yeah.
If we were to get any kind of message, if I could portray any message to our listeners, is that look for the good in everyone. You will find something common and just build on that.
Yes.
And we see that from this movie.
Yeah.
Right? They're very different women, different ages, different stages in their life, but they found something common. And out of that, they build a friendship, a relationship, a motherhood for the kids.
Yeah. Phenomenal. We hoped you guys enjoyed this movie as much as we did. Let us know how much you cried.
Maybe we were the only ones that cried.
Yeah, if you, we're just babies, so get used to it because we'll probably have more of these. I think I said that I cry every single time I watch Remember the Titans, without a doubt.
Yeah, you did, yeah.
We'd love it if you guys could subscribe. If you find this podcast enjoyable, if you think it's so enjoyable that you just want to share the world, the best way to help us out is to leave us a review. You know, whether that be 3, 4, or that very, very exciting 5-star. Have you read any? Do we have any reviews?
Yeah, we have a couple. We'll pull them up.
I need to read these because I have not. I mean, I try not to look at it too much, but we appreciate all you. One thing is I really appreciate that we're about 50-50 split on our male and female setup. So
Yeah,
I really love that.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I think that's awesome. More importantly, we want to hear from you. What do you think of this movie? Have you seen it? Is this your first time? Did you cry as much as we did? Holy cow, man! I really did cry. I don't know if it was just
This movie. I will cry every single time I see this movie.
I could have asked. You know what? I cried so hard when she quits her job, Julia Roberts' character, and so for the next 5 minutes, we see scenes of her taking pictures with. I cried that entire montage, dude. This is a woman who's taking her skill set and just capturing moments for the children with their mom, for the mom with their children, and then she prints out like the life-size printouts. It's just
I'm a firm believer that literally changed her perspective on her work.
Yes, yeah.
We don't know. I don't know if she told them she got fired.
No,
we don't know. I don't know. I assume that she probably did say something, right? The whole situation. I mean, probably because she lost money. But to me, I see the way she was taking those photos and seeing things. Like you said, I'm like, I fundamentally believe in that character, and that she went from this glamorized, full, large format, full films camera to this moment of capturing the moments that will share those save memories for individuals.
Yeah,
right. It's about the moments that just let us just breathe.
It's so good. But reach out to us. Let us know. What was your favorite scene? What do you like about this movie? What don't you like about the movie? You can always get in touch with us via email, you're@realchums.com, or connect with us on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube @realchums. You can also follow Danny and myself on Twitter. I'm on Twitter as Marstrosity, MARCTROSITY.
And me, Rubio_TV.
Join us next week. We're shifting gears here. We're going to watch Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Come back, hear us out, go watch it, and can't wait to talk about Guardians of the Galaxy.
All right, let's get our cassette tapes.
Oh, yeah. I'm excited for whatever soundtrack.
So good.
Okay, we'll see you guys.